Hi, this is Starkie Sowers. Welcome to the Nutrition Mission Podcast from Clark's Nutrition and Natural Foods Market. So the idea of this, Jessica, is to bring all sorts of things to the public's view as well as to some audible situations. So if you're driving down the road or you're doing this, you can listen to some of the episodes. We're going to have all sorts of topics, everything from like tea to sports nutrition to keto diets and the popular diets of the time. You excited for this?
So excited. So make sure you guys subscribe to our channel and you can go find us on YouTube like Starkie said. So are you guys ready?
All right.
We're all about the Nutrition Mission.
Hi, this is Starkie Sowers. Welcome again to another Nutrition Mission episode brought to you by Clark's Nutrition and Natural Foods Market. Today I have with me Jessica Q.
Hey guys.
Right? So you got the cowboy outfit on?
Yeah, today I'm a cowgirl.
Okay, cowgirl today.
Yes.
Find out today that your birthday is on my wife's birthday. That's pretty cool.
September 22nd.
Yeah, do not forget that if you're the husband, right?
Yeah, don't forget that. Oh no,
Yeah,
and the anniversary. Don't forget that.
Oh
too.
yeah. Those are like critical moments, right? So, I thought I'd talk about olive today. And so when I think of olive, I'm thinking about olive leaf, olive juice. By the way, did you know that they call olive oil olive juice? They actually consider it a juice.
A juice, huh?
A juice.
I've never heard that. Why?
Neither had I
Why
up
is
until
that?
about a year ago. I actually toured the olive fields down in Temecula. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Temecula Olive Oil Company. They actually have a tour on their fields. That's out in Anza Borrego. I went out there and I saw how they crush and prepare and do all the things with the olive oil. Tasted all their olive juice, as they called it. They said it's because it's fruit. Remember, to define a fruit has to have a seed. And so olive is a fruit. And so they call it olive juice.
So it is a juice.
It's a juice. All right, so let's talk about biblical references. 5,000 years ago, literally over 5,000 years ago, biblical references all the way through. So Noah's Ark floats for 150 days. So the dove goes out and brings back what?
An olive branch.
That's correct.
I remember
And that is the symbol of peace.
I love it.
Right? So it's getting to be fall time. I love olives. I love everything to do with it. As a kid growing up, we had 6 olive trees. They were huge.
Were they all different types of olives?
No, I don't know because we never ate them.
Oh.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So my job was to rake up the leaves and rake up the olives and throw them in the trash can, because if you've ever tried to pick an olive off the tree and eat it, it doesn't happen.
Why?
It is so bitter and knocks you over. In fact, I brought some olive leaf extract today. And you're joyously going to sample that.
I'm going to joyously.
Yes.
And am I going to knock out and fall over? You said it. That's what it does.
It's brutal.
Oh, no.
So then in order to make
Starkie, what did you get me into today?
I tell you, walk by going, hey, do you want to be on my podcast? Sure, Starkie, we're going to sample olive oil.
Might have been a mistake.
Yeah, you might have made a mistake, right? Trouble comes. I did bring some nice olives, but in order to make olives, you have to take it and soak it in salt water for like weeks at a time. It's a curing process. So the neighbor would come over. Finally, after a couple of years, the neighbor said, hey, can I have your olives? Sure, dude, you can have all you want. I'll set them aside for you. So he'd take them, and by the way, you can do them green, you can do them black. In fact, you'll love this, I brought some different Kalamata olives. By the way, it's a specific type of tree, but I brought some dried olives. Okay?
Dried olives.
Dried olives. You notice that there's no brine in this. It's a dry process olive. Check that out. Grab the bottle and try a dry cured olive. All right, so who's on
Try it?
Yeah.
Is there a seed in it?
No. You know what? That one should not have a seed in it.
It does.
So it might.
Moroccan
olives. Salty, kind of briny.
It's very salty.
Yeah, kind of briny.
It's like very, very salty.
Very salty. Yeah, yeah. Very different process when they do it. We typically in America, of course, like the typical brine water type and things of that nature. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting day for you because you're going to experience some really wild things. All right.
I'm ready
all
for
right.
it.
So. As I was a kid raking all these things out, I started, I kind of liked the whole idea of olives because I like the flavor of them. And so you look into the history of olives literally goes for some really cool moments. So we see some Greek moments, some Roman moments. Literally the empire, when it comes to like the financial empire, was oftentimes based on the success of the olives production for the year.
Wow.
It's almost like a currency.
Okay.
So, right? Okay.
Well, it used to be a lot of bartering, right? So this is probably one of
Absolutely.
the
Was
high-end items that you could get out there.
And depending on the taste and the quality of your olive oil and, whether you picked it, cured it right, obviously where the olives grow changes the flavor and things of that nature as well too. It takes 7 to 8 years for an olive tree to actually be able to produce fruit. So you have to grow it for 7 or 8 years before you even get any fruit.
Wow.
Right?
So, yeah.
Quite a commitment.
That is a commitment.
Here's a cool thing. Olive trees actually are very industrious and they don't need much water. That's kind of cool too.
Okay.
So you'll find it in desert,
That's
Middle
why
Eastern
I was
areas.
say Middle East.
Exactly.
Mediterranean.
Obviously, comes to it seems like almost every single type of culture has olives, right? As a kid, like I said, as a kid growing up, we had them in the family. It's a famous place in Ontario called the Graber Olive House. They've been there since 88.
Oh,
and they
wow.
actually
Almost
now
like 150 years old.
they literally right now are curing their olives probably
No
today.
way.
Yeah, so it's in clay pots, like from way back when. They have a Model A Ford truck engine, right, out of the 20s, and it runs this belt, and they size the different size.
No
Yes.
way.
Pretty
And
amazing.
So they built that.
Yeah, and what it does, it runs the
yeah.
olives down, and it kind of has this conveyor belt. And what it does, like if it's a large olive, it falls into this pile, small olive, blah, 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 stuff like that. Yeah, really cool. So they
that is
size
pretty
them, and that's one of the ways that you'll actually see it. All right. So as a kid, I used to throw away the leaves all the time, year round, right? It kind of bugged me. Like, why should we throw the leaves away? There's got to be something in these leaves that actually have value.
Yeah.
Okay? There's a substance in it called oliperine, like a big old name, oliperine. It's an antioxidant, but it has antibacterial and antimicrobial factors as well. And so about, 10, 15 years ago, olive leaf extract becomes like the new thing for like
A super
different types.
antioxidant.
Not only a super antioxidant, but also good for the immune system and great for lung complications and things like that, and like sore throat.
Wow.
Right? So guess what? You had some weird
I
taste
get
in
to
olives.
try
and
it.
You get a taste. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You brought your water with
I'm
you,
glad
right?
I got my couch. I'm like, I'm
yeah,
ready.
you better be glad
I'm ready
you
for
got
this
that.
rodeo.
All right. So go real easy, okay?
Are you're gonna do? Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta smell it. I don't smell nothing too crazy.
Just do a little bit, and have your water close.
It's sweet.
Kind of sweet and bitter at the same time.
It gets bitter.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Not too bad.
That's not too bad.
And so for the last probably 15, maybe even 20 years, super, super popular being used for not only antioxidant, which, the antioxidant, we'll talk a little bit about the antioxidant benefit. Obviously, the oils also have a small amount of oliperine in it as well, too. And literally this substance is anti-inflammatory. It works to help to regulate blood sugar. It also helps. So the leaves had incredible value all along, right? So the other thing it does, antibacterial, specifically for gram-positive. So for gut stuff, it's amazing.
Okay.
Especially like if you're feeling bad, like maybe flu or
like
whatever.
A tummy ache
or different things like that,
okay.
or like stomach issues and things of that nature. Amazing for like the immune system. They literally like consider it like one of the things, almost like a tonic for the immune system.
Wow.
Really crazy, right?
Yes, and I don't think a lot of people
Nobody
realize
talks
that.
about it.
No.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Crazy
and this is
stuff.
the reason why you should be watching Starkie's podcast.
Right. Now, if you don't like the taste, we have it in a capsule.
Okay.
But I thought that's too pansy for you to be. You got to taste it.
I've tried. It's the worst thing I've ever tried. Flaxseed oil.
Yeah, flaxseed oil is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty intense.
Okay.
So I was expecting it to be worse than that. I'm like, what's the worst?
It's got a wild flavor. It's not bad.
It's not too bad. It was sweet at first. There was like a bitter taste that it leaves at the back of your tongue where I'm tasting it, but it's not too bad. So that
bitter taste, by the way, is what you'll find in the actual fruit oil or the olive fruit or olive oil, right? And so that oliperine is the compound that is an incredible and powerful antioxidant. It's not only does it have anti-inflammatory aspects as well as antifungal and other different things like that. The other thing about oliperines is they also are very, very conditioning for the heart. They're protective for the heart. And so that's where we see all the benefits that come out of it.
So many benefits.
Right? So one of the toughest jobs, though, and this is my opinion, the toughest job is finding the olive oil you like. So let's talk a little bit about, I only brought extra virgin olive oils. Okay, so let's talk about that. So what they basically do is they take the olives, okay? They basically pile them all together, and they put it through a de-pitting process, a de-stoning process.
Okay.
So in the de-stoning process, they remove the pit, and they basically come out with a paste.
Okay.
Then they take the paste and they have to put it under hydraulic press, cold temperature. If they do hot temperature, they're using almost like a chemically produced oil that they'll use more like in industry and for cosmetics. So it's a little bit different.
Okay.
So for consumption, though, the first press is called the extra virgin.
Okay.
So you can press it again and get a non-extra virgin, and so that ends up typically being like the cheaper oils.
So the press is why it's called extra virgin.
Correct. The first press. So if you're getting extra virgin, you're getting the good stuff.
You're getting the cold pressed.
Cold press, first press, extra virgin olive oil. And that's where all the antioxidants and all the powerful components are for cardiovascular health. Don't get me wrong. It's an omega-9 fatty acid, which is a monounsaturated fatty acids, which lower cholesterol and lower triglycerides. So even the other stuff, the second press stuff, is going to benefit that, but it's not going to have the cardiovascular protective benefits that the other one has, the bitter flavors of those particular polyphenol compounds that are antioxidants. So the critical moment is you've got to taste this.
Okay.
We've got cameraman.
Yeah,
Brandon's going to come in.
We're going to get him in.
We're going to have the duel here. We're going to, between you and Brandon, you're going to tell me there's two pieces now. So I laid all this out.
So he put a couple,
a bunch of layouts. So here we go. The first one I pulled up, the first two are from Greece. Knowing your heritage, right?
Yes.
So where's your heritage?
So I'm Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern.
So like Lebanon.
And, my neighbors, by the way, are from Lebanon. So cool moment. So I didn't have any Lebanese olive oil, and I guarantee you there is Lebanese, but that Greece is about as close as I could get. Yeah. So all right, so here we go. Right, so
authentic
the first
Greek.
two, the Braggs as well as the gay. So there's two pieces of bread. So I want you guys to tell me what you think on this flavor. Now, sometimes you'll get what they call a grassy flavor, which means they've waited to press the oil. So if it's grassy or sharp, if it's sharp, it's a fresh fruit. If it's grassy, it's a little bit later. So is it grassy or is it good? What do you think?
I think it's grassy.
So it's a little grassy.
Yeah, it's got that type of.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a grassy flavor. All right. So by the way, you have water. You might want to clear your palate or whatever you want to do, because ultimately that's probably what's going to happen here. All right. So then Bragg's olive oil is literally famous. It's been on the shelf in our stores ever since I've been there. Literally 100-year-old tradition. Bragg's olive oil. Okay. So
You want some bread?
Yeah.
You want some bread?
No, you guys are up, man. This is you. Oh yeah, I've tasted every one of these. Okay.
Oh, good.
That's good. Little less grassy, a little kind of got some bitter in it, but it's very strong in its palate, isn't it? All right.
It is.
Very strong. Okay. So next one on the list, two of them from Italy.
Okay.
All right. So this one is called Belusi. Okay. So it's the Belusi. And then the second one that we have from Italy is actually, this is a Mediterranean. Okay, so this will be a fun one. So maybe that's, and what does it mean to be Mediterranean? It's probably a blend. They probably bought, a blend.
It's a pretty,
Yeah. So what do you think of the Italian Tuscan olive oil?
Good.
It tastes Italian.
It does, right?
Italian.
Yeah.
Right, by the way, just to let you know, most of the Italian imported olive oil was the seconds that they didn't want into the United States. And the flavor component or the flavor taste for most Americans is that flavor. It's like, that's the good stuff. And the Italians were laughing all the way to the bank. All right, second one, this is Cadia. This is just like a house brand. It's inexpensive. It'd be a great oil to have around, but it has a very unique flavor. And as I said, it's Mediterranean, so it's probably a blend of multiple things.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so let's check that one out.
Cadia.
Should be like
lighter.
Very light, something you would expect at a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
And that's typically, what you would find. Like if you're in the house and you don't want a strong one, I take this home. My wife loves it. She does not like strong olive oils.
Okay.
Okay, home run on the price too.
Is that a good deal?
Yeah. All right, so now check this out. These guys are interesting. It's called the Cobram Estate. Okay. Now it's Californian and Australian. So the Australians actually have an incredible market. The first one up is the Californian, and the second one is going to be the Aussie. So have a little flavor check on the Aussie.
Oh, it's different.
Is that good? What'd you think?
One's different than the rest.
Yeah, it's different, isn't it? So remember, the different regions it's going to grow, it's going to have different polyphenol compounds. Okay, so Jessica, how's the Australia?
It definitely tastes way different.
It's way different.
Oh, way different.
Oh my gosh. Sharp notes, sharp flavor. Is that good, right? It's very unique, very different. So you ready for this? In Australia, they don't have the manpower to pick the olives.
So what do they do?
There's only 22 million people that live in Australia. There's more people that live in the state of New York that actually live in Australia.
Oh, wow.
For the amount of olives that they grow, they have developed a machine. They grow it on a flatland. The machine goes up to the tree and shakes it, and everything falls down into a net, and then they take it away. Most all the Californian stuff and most of the other stuff grows on hills, and the machine doesn't work there.
Yeah.
Crazy,
So they
right?
have to actually go pick
Yeah,
it
they
up.
actually got to
cool.
pick it by hand.
So less work at
Right,
Australia.
exactly.
They're
All
like,
right.
we figured it out.
One of my favorites, okay? One of my favorites, Napa Valley Organic from Mediterranean. So another California company. This is a Mediterranean blend. And they're is that delish or what?
I really like that one. That's
Is
my
that
favorite one, I
delish? Yeah. So that's the
wow.
favorite, Jessica. Okay. That's favorite. What was so far?
Napa
What was the
Valley.
second favorite so far?
think.
Second favorite?
I think I liked maybe that one. I
So
like
the California.
But it might be because I
did.
buy a lot of
Yeah.
olive oil that's from California.
Right,
Probably
right.
go with the Toscana.
Is that
Toscana. Okay,
possible?
all right. So we're coming up. That is very possible because that's where your flavor palette is. So now let's move down. Okay, so I pulled out another one, and this is another Italian one. I kind of like matched it, by the way, next to another Indian one,
This one?
which
This
is
is a curated taste test.
this is a curated
see.
taste test. All right. So ultimately, I think this would be fun, obviously, for our audience. If you're listening, it's kind of an interesting situation, but if you're seeing the visual, you'll be able to see the brands that are in the store.
This one is. That one?
Yes,
I like
Italian.
that. Italian.
So,
I see.
and this one was Tuscan. I believe this one's from another area. Very different flavor from the Tuscan, wasn't it?
It is.
Yeah. And finally, you ready for this?
I'm just wondering, is this taste test keto?
No, it is not keto.
I'm just kidding.
When we're done, we probably
I know
only
your
got.
last episode
Yeah,
was
yeah,
about
yeah.
keto.
Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Last episode's about keto. Keto went out the door. Get
This one's going to be extra.
All right, Brandon.
Here we go.
That has a lot of flavor. It's not my favorite.
Not your favorite. Not a
my
lot of
favorite.
flavor. Not your
This one
favorite.
almost tastes normal to me.
Yep,
Like,
normal.
there's
So
like-
this
yeah.
is these two right here are the normal flavor ones.
Hey,
Normal?
come
Normal
on.
Apparently
flavor.
I don't like normal.
And you know why?
Okay, yeah.
They don't even tell you where they get this stuff. They just say it's a Mediterranean blend, blah, blah, blah. Same thing like this. I wouldn't even be, and get me wrong, I could be rude, but they might even be bottling for each other. All right? So, yes,
Yeah.
that is the typical American table flavor that you'll get.
Okay.
It's a blend of different types
Yeah.
of oils. They are extra virgin, so we do have the polyphenol compounds. But I'm looking at your face, Jessica, and your face kind of says the whole story. It's like, that was okay. You know?
No, that one.
Yeah, right. But these
I don't
really
want the
rank
normal
up there,
stuff.
don't they?
I want the like exotic.
Exotic flavor and the really
yeah.
deep flavors and the real,
I like it.
yeah, good. All right, so then of course,
Did you start?
obviously, there's all sorts of different types of olives that are available too. You got a little bit of sampling on that. I'm not going to do the sampling on that, but one of the things that I think is interesting is this. Nowadays, you can actually buy them in a flavor pack. Jessica, you got a phone call?
I do.
I'm done. Thank you for staying.
Yeah,
Thank you for
no,
sampling.
thank you. That
It's
was so
great.
fun. Yeah, yeah.
Good moment.
Oh my gosh.
So
Olive oil.
I got
all
your
this, yeah.
take homes for you.
Yes, thank
All right,
you.
Thanks again for watching another
Yes, thank you guys.
episode and listening to another podcast here at Clark's Nutrition and Natural Foods Market.